Hi there, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown on the home page. We'll start up here with the time and the date, and then we've got our status indicators here. The first one, that little green plug, that says that we're connected to our controller and they are communicating. If you ever lose communications or unplug something, that plug will turn red and start flashing. Next we got a little globe there, that is for the internet expansion hub. That tells you if it's communicating okay with the controller. And over here we've got HTTP, that tells you if the web page is open. Currently I have it open, so I'll just close the page and you'll see that gray out in a little bit. And finally we got an ATO status icon there. That is grayed out, and when the ATO pumps, automatic top off pump runs, it turns green. And for whatever reason, if something goes bad and malfunctions, it turns red. When it turns red, you can push that area of the screen. Right now it doesn't work, but you can push it and then reset the ATO so that it works again. If the ATO malfunctions, it will never turn on again until you reset it. So then we go over to here and we got our different temperatures, the main ones. We've got our water temp, our air temp with humidity, and the light temperature. And if we push that briefly, we get a minute and a max. That's the different temps that it's reached. And let's go back into that for a second. Well, let's do this one. And if we push and hold it, they reset, goes back to the current one, push it, and we will have new mins and max. I got a little probe here, so I'm just going to heat it up. You'll see that our water temp is on right now. As the temp climbs, it's going to turn that off, and this will turn red and set off an alarm. So our alarm went, and the heater turned off, and now our text is red. So the beep will happen until the temp goes back to normal. If we go into our settings, our alerts, water temp, you can change the volume. So if you don't want that beep, you can just put the volume to 0 and you won't hear nothing. You'll just get the visual notice. So to reset it, you just briefly touch the icon and it goes back. So we know we're back in range there, and if we hit that again, we can see that we climbed up to 86.56, so you can see what it went to. So that's basically how those work. And over here we have our current light mode. Right now my lights are turning on, so it's going from the dark to the light, or the low sun rather, and we've got 80 minutes left. And I don't know if you heard that, but our heater just turned on because our temp dropped below our set temp, so that's good. So yeah, that's how the current light mode, once it's done fading, it will just show the low sun icon. Over here we got our pH reading. That part of the screen can also be customized, so we can show more than just the pH if we want, and we can tell it how often to scroll that area. So every 20 seconds this will scroll, or I can just touch it and it'll go to the next one. Those I have to align because I made some changes. Min-max again, if we push and hold that, it beeps and they get reset. So all the readings have a min-max there. Down here we've got our last fish feeding. It was fed 8 minutes ago because my last video didn't work out. So here it is again. If we hit auto feed, we can see that the fish are currently being fed, and there's 1 minute to go. And the outlets all went to a state that we had selected in another part of the program. So now we've got our dosing pumps. These are all the reservoirs for the 4 pumps. We've got 179 in that one, 254, 25, and 25. When a pump's being dosed, the yellow or the white reservoir turns red, and it tells you up here that it's dosing. Over here we got our power status. Here it shows the 16 outlets. All these icons can be customized, so if we have a light in outlet 3, for example, we can change that to have a light icon. And we can have 2 heaters plugged in. This heater isn't on because the temp isn't low enough yet, so that only comes on if it gets really bad. And if we touch that area of the screen, we get a power screen. Here we can manually change the status of any of the outlets. So we can turn that on, and we can see it came on, and now it says it's running in manual mode. Now that means that that outlet that we just turned on will never turn off unless we manually turn it off. All the other outlets will still do what they should, but that one will always stay on. So to put it back in automatic mode, we just briefly touch if we go here, for example, first and turn it off, sure, we turned it off like it was, but it's still in manual mode, so it will always stay off now. But to get it back in auto mode, we just touch resume and it goes back into auto mode. The heater shut off because there's a schedule set for it that says it shouldn't be on right now, but our temp overrides it, so it should come back on in a second here. And down here we've got our dock, we've got our resume button. If we just touch that quickly, it resumes the outlets as you've just seen, and if we push it and hold it for 1 second, it resumes our light modes and not the outlets. I don't want to do that right now, but anyways. And if we push and hold it for 5 seconds, it will do a hard reset on all the powers and the lights. So if we mess something up in all the settings and we want it to do a hard reset, that's how we would do it. Next we got our lights button. If we push that, this is the temporary light mode. The controller has 4 daily modes that it switches through, and then there's a 5th mode, which is our temporary mode. So at any given time we can adjust our lights to whatever we want. If I hit set temporary light mode, it'll stay in that mode, and it also remembers the last settings that were used. Right now it is showing it like this because that is the low light settings that I have. So as you can see, it's going to low sun right now, and that's what it should be going to when it's done in the fade. If I hit that button, it would go to whatever I had adjusted these to previously, and if we push this, we can get to our other 9 channels. Good thing I have no lights on that one, or I would have freaked out my fish. So yeah, so I'll just show you, since I got no lights on those, how the sliders work. You just touch it and you can go up and down. You can see that it goes up to 495 and down to 0, and it's quite accurate. I can get it to, let's go 2400. Well, there is no 2400 because it goes by multiples of 16 when it's in the high end range. And if we want to tweak our low end range, we can put it in a low mode, and we only adjust from 0 to 55. So let's go to 73. So it's that easy, quite responsive. Back to 73, and there we go. So you can see how that works. And then we've got our storm button. If we push that, the storm starts up. Don't want to do that right now, but this will tell you that it's fading over. It'll then change to a lightning icon, and then it's resuming back to the regular mode that it should be in. Here we've got a graph button, and we can check out all our different graphs. And here we've got a sensors button. This is where all the sensors for the controller are viewed in one location. So we can look at our water, our light, our air, our humidity, temp 1, 2, 3, and 4, or pH, ORP, dissolved oxygen, saturation, electrical conductivity, dissolved oxygen, or total dissolved solids, salinity, and specific gravity. And then here we've got our service page. This is where we set the ATO settings for the automatic top-off system. There will be a lot more coming to fill this page. I won't fill you in on what that'll be yet. And finally we got our settings button. And this is just how to get into all the settings for the controller, which will be explained in another video. So yeah, that's basically how the home page works, and thanks for watching.